back again. We're still looking at changing metric units. We're on workbook page, workbook page 240 of your packet. It's the last page, of course. So let's continue. Let's look at our chart right quick. It says metric measures. Okay, we have 1 meter equals what? 10 decimeters. 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. 1 decimeter equals 10 centimeters. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. 1 meter equals 1,000 meters. Those are all our lengths, right? How long something is. Now, 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters, which means distance. Of course, again, that means 1,000 of those meter sticks I showed you in the classroom. Okay, and then 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, liquid volume. Of course, 1 liter, think about a 2-liter drink bottle, okay? You've seen those before. Think about the smaller ones. They're 1 liters, okay? Then you have 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams, and we're referring to weight there, okay? All right, now let's get started on our problems. Let's look at problem number 1. We're going to start changing metric units and we're comparing actually also by using greater than, less than, or equal to. So let's look at problem number 1. 4 meters is greater than, less than, or equal to 400 decimeters. Now I've rewritten my problem here, of course. And we're looking at meters to decimeters. That means we're going from what? Horse to fly. So we're going to multiply because meters are larger than decimeters, right? Meters is a meter stick, okay? Now, what are we multiplying by? Of course, we're going to multiply 4 because we're changing meters to decimeters. We're going to multiply, and we can compare once we change this meter to decimeter. So we're multiplying 4 times what number? Go back up to your chart. Meters to decimeters. Here it is. 1 meter equals 10 decimeters, right? So we're multiplying by 10. So come back down to our chart and we're multiplying by 10. 4 times 10, of course, is 40. Pretty simple, huh? So my answer would be 40 decimeters. Now we're comparing 40 decimeters to 400 decimeters. So 40, of course, is smaller. Don't forget our dot method. It gets 1 dot. 400 is larger, so it gets 2 dots. And we simply connect the dots, right? All right, so we know now that 4 meters is less than 400 decimeters. All right, now I'm skipping around, okay? I'm not going in order with our problems. So let's look at problem number, you guessed it, problem number 6, okay? 1 kilometer is greater than, less than, or equal to 999 meters. Let's look at our chart. All the way at the top. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 what? Meters, right? Okay, so let's look at our chart for one moment. We looked at our chart, so let's look at our paper, So 1 kilometer. Remember, 1 kilometer equals what? 1,000 meters, right? Isn't 1,000 meters greater than 999 meters? Yes, it is. So 1,000 would get 2 dots. 999 is a lesser number, so it would get 1 dot. And we simply connect the dots. So that's the answer to number 6. Pretty simple. All right, now let's move on down to number 8. And this is problem number 8. We're comparing 500 grams to 5 kilograms. It's no use to doing horse to fly, fly to horse. Well, of course, it's going to be fly to horse, divide, of course, but we don't need to do that. We just need to look at this, concentrate on this number right here and this unit of measurement. Think about kilograms. How many grams are in a kilogram? Remember, 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. And if I've got 5 of them, it's going to be what? It's going to equal 5,000 grams. So we are comparing 500 grams to 5,000 grams. 500 gets 1 dot because it's a smaller number. 5,000 gets 2 dots because it's a larger number. And we simply connect the dots. So 500 grams is less than 5 kilograms. And that's the answer to number 8. and that's going to be less than. Okay, still skipping around. Let's look at number 11. This time we're comparing meters to kilometers. Again, that's meters is a small unit. That's a meter stick, right? And we're comparing it to kilometers. It's pretty big. So if you think about it, 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. Now I have 2 kilometers, right? So can I just rewrite it again under here? 1 kilometer, and use repeated addition, equals 1,000 meters. And when I add it up, 1 plus 1 is 2, so I have 2 kilometers equals 2,000. That's right, 2,000 meters. So my answer here is 3,000 meters would be greater than 2,000 meters. Why? Because that 3 gets 2 dots. It's a larger number. And the 2,000 would get 1 dot, and we connect the dots. So 3 million is greater than 3,000 meters, is greater than 2 kilometers. All right, now let's look at number 12. We're looking at millimeters, and we're comparing it to decimeters. This time will be fly the horse, but we really don't have to do that. We can just look at our decimeters and change them to millimeters, right? Nah, kind of difficult to do that if you don't remember how many centimeters are in a decimeter, or how many millimeters are in a centimeter. You would have to know all that in your head. So let's just walk through the problem. Let's walk it out. Let's go in order. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, decimeters, centimeters, millimeters, when we're talking about measurement here, right? This is going, you understand? Okay. Going from a small unit to a large, right? All right, so let's look at decimeters for one moment. Okay. If we go from decimeters, to what? Centimeters, right? So we can say 1 decimeter equals how many centimeters, right? Look at your chart. What does it say about decimeters and centimeters? Here it is right here. 1 decimeter equals what? 10 centimeters. And some of you already knew that, so I just simply put a 10, right? So now I've gone from decimeters to centimeters. Now I want to go take that 10 centimeters, and I want to find out, you guessed it, how many millimeters it would equal, right? This is problem number 12. So centimeters to millimeters. Look at our chart. Let's go back up to our chart. Centimeters to millimeters. And how many do we see here? 10, right? Okay, so back down to our board here. So we're going to multiply 10 times what? 10. Why did we multiply? Because we went from horse to fly. What? Multiply, right? And 10 times 10 is equal to, you're right, 100. So now 10 centimeters equals 100 millimeters. All right? So that means, since they go in order here, that means that 1 decimeter equals 100 meters. So our answer is equal. 100 meters equals 100 meters. And that's number 12. Okay? All right. Now, I'm skipping 13. I'm leaving that for you. But we're going to do number 14 together. So let's look at number 14. It says, writing to explain. If 15 potatoes together weigh a kilogram and 8 pears together weigh 1,200 grams, which weighs more? A potato or a pear? This is the clue right here, guys. A potato a pair. They didn't ask for the total. They just want to know what each would weigh. So the easiest way to do this would be to change those kilograms to grams, and then we can compare which weighs more, but a potato or a pear. But we're going to have to use it in what? Grams. Okay, so let's get started. All right, now we know that 5 potatoes equals 1 kilogram, which equals what? 1,000 grams. And we also know that 8 pears equals, is already in your grams, and it says 1,200 grams. Okay? Now, how are we going to figure out each? If you're thinking long division, you're correct. That's one way of doing it. That's the way we're going to do it today. We're going to look at long division. We're going to look at potatoes first. Okay? We're going to actually divide. We're going to divide 5 into 1,000. Okay? For the potatoes. Don't forget your what? D, M, S, B. Does McDonald's sell burgers? Or, right? Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Don't forget your T-chart for what? 5s. Okay? Now, let's start dividing, and we can find out how much does 1 potato weigh. Can I divide 5 into 1? No. So I put a little X here. If I put an X on my D, I put a 0 here. Now my next step is to multiply, and I do a touch method. 0 times 5 will give me 0. Just finished multiplying. My next step will be subtraction. So when I subtract, I simply get the number 1. My next step is to bring down. Do I have a digit to bring down? Yes, I have a 0. So I want to bring that 0 down and put a check. Now if there's a check on my B, that means I need to what? Go back up to the D and divide again. That means I put a hook here and I ask myself the question, can I divide 5 into 10? And my answer is yes. Now, it's time to multiply. How close can I come to 10 on my chart? And that will be 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. And we're at our answer already. So put a box around it, right? My 2 will go in the top of my problem. 10 goes underneath the 10. I just finished multiplying 2 times 5 and I got 10. So I need to put a check. My next step is to subtract. And when I subtract, I simply get what, guys? I simply get a 0, right? Check. My next step is to what? Bring down, right? Bring down a 0, right? I do have another digit to bring down. So I put a check. All right, now, my next step is to, if I've got a check on my B, I need to go back up to the D and divide again. So I know what you're already thinking. I know the answer, Miss Smith. I know the answer. I know you do, but we got to walk through our steps, okay? So, can I divide 5 into 0? No, okay? So if there's an X on my D, I put a 0 here. Now it's time to multiply. 0 times 5 is, of course, 0. Check. My next step is to subtract. And when I subtract, of course, I get 0. Check. My next step is to bring down. Do I have another digit to bring down? Yes, I do. I have another 0. Okay? Check. If I got a check on my B, that means I need to go back up to the D and I ask myself that question again. Can I divide 5 into 0? And of course not. So I need to put in X. If there's an X on my D, I put a 0 here. Now it's time to what? Multiply. 0 times 5 will give me 0 times 5 will give me 0, right? All right, now I just finished multiplying. Check. My next step is to subtract, and I get 0. So I am putting a check here. My next step is to bring down. But do I have another number to bring down? No. So I put an X on my B. If there's an X on my B, I am done dividing. My next step is to check for a remainder. No remainder. So I can go ahead and actually check my problems to see if the quotient 200 is correct. How do I do a check? Multiply your quotient times your divisor. And I could have done the slide, I know. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 2 is 10. So my answer is 1,000, same as my dividend. So my answer is 200 grams, right? So let me write that on my paper. Excuse me. A potato equals 200 grams. Now it's time to do the pair, right? So let's figure out our pair. We're doing the same method. What we're going to do, we're just simply going to divide, right? So we're going to divide 8 into 1,200 because 8 pairs weigh 1,200 grams. Okay, don't forget your DMSB. Does McDonald's sell burgers? In other words, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And we're doing, of course, multiples of 8. All right, now, can I divide 8 into 1? No. So I put a 0 here, right? Now, time to multiply. 0 times 8 will give me 0. So I put a check. I just finished multiplying. My next step is to subtract. And when I subtract, I simply get the number 1. Now, put a check there. My next step is to look at the B. Bring down. Do I have a number to bring down? Yes, I do. I have a number 2. Put it right beside the 1. Check. There's a check on my B. That means I need to go back up to the D and start all over again. Put a hook here and an 8. Ask yourself the question, can I divide 8 into 12? Yes, of course I can. Check. Now, multiply and see how close can I come. So 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 would give me 16. Uh-oh, that's too much. We got to back it up to the 8, right? So, my 1 goes here. Follow that right underneath here. 8 goes there, right? Now 1 times 8 is 8. Check. My next step is to what? Subtract. Uh-oh. Look like we got to do some regrouping here. Can't take 8 from 2. So more on the floor. Go next door. Grab what? 10 more. You're right. And now this 2 can become a 12, right? Now what's 12 subtract 8? It's 4. Very good. My next step is to bring down, and I do have a number to bring down. It's a 0. And I put a check. If there's a check on my B, I need to go back up to the D, and I start all over again. Can I divide 8 into 40? And of course I can. Now how close can I come on my chart without going over? Ready? So 3 times to 40, okay? 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. And then 5 times 8 would give me what? 40. And I'm at my answer. Very good. So my 5 would go here. 40 goes underneath the 40. Right? All right. I just finished multiplying 5 times 8 and I got 40. So I need to put a check on my multiplication. My next step is to subtract. And when I subtract, of course, I get 0. So I need to put a check. Do I have another number to bring down for the B? Yes, I do. I have another 0. Okay, so put a check. Now this check is on my B. What does that mean? I go back up to the what? D and start again. I know what you're saying. I know the answer, Miss Smith. I know you do, but we have to show our work, okay? So now, can I divide 8 into 0? No. So if there's an X on my D, I need to put a 0 here, right, in my quotient. And now, multiply by touching 0 times 8 will give me what? 0. I just finished multiplying. Check. My next step is to subtract, and when I subtract, I simply get 0. Check. Do I have another number to bring down? No. So I put an X on my B. If there's an X on the B, what does that mean? That means I'm done dividing. I don't have a remainder. So my next step will be to do my what? To check. My quotient is 150. So I multiply my quotient times my divisor, which is 8. So it's 150 times 8. And when I multiply, 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 will give me 12. So my answer is 1,200. Same as my dividend, right? Very good. So a pair would be my quotient 150 grams. Okay? So let's go back to my paper. That's my math. Okay? And now I go back to my paper and I need to write my answer here. A pair is equal to 150 grams. And your question asks, which weighs more? Which weighs more, potato or a pear? You would say a potato weighs more. And that's it. All right, so that is all of page 240. And that is the last page of your packet. I'm showing the problem again just in case you want to see it. That is your page. I want you to go back and do the problems that we did not complete. And if you have any questions, just dojo me and I'll help you out. Okay? All right, guys. Take care. I'll see you on, we start the rest of our packet, which will actually be not our packet, but in your math book. Okay? We're going to be looking at, let me see, make sure I'm correct here. Yeah, we're going into your math book and we're going to start geometry. And we're going to start with workbook page 767, and we're going to look at the vocabulary. All right, guys, talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.